Remember watching Shin Godzilla? I do. This movie came out and it was very interesting. Very interesting. This was like my fourth Godzilla film that I ever watched. And we rented it. And I remember it. It was at home. We rented it. We watched it. And we were confused as hell. We didn't like it. So the first time we watched it, we didn't like it like at all. So yeah, but over time we've understood it. I have watched thousands of videos on the actual movie, especially as of recently, and now I could say that Shin Godzilla is one of my favorite Godzilla films ever made. I think just one of the main things that I really love about this version of Godzilla is how much different he is compared to like all of his other interpretations that he's had. And just the amount of pain that this guy is probably going through. This guy doesn't want to destroy a city. He just is so confused on what is happening because of just all the shit that's been going on. And his rapid, evolution is just constantly going on and on. Like every single second, he is slowly evolving. And it's probably very, very painful for him. So it's a version of Godzilla that you really feel sorry for. And just as of recently, -1 came out. Godzilla really peaked off again. Everybody's talking about -1. Everyone's talking about the comparisons to -1 and Shin Godzilla. And everyone's getting back into the groove of Godzilla. And especially since in April we got Godzilla X Kong coming out. So it's a big Godzilla moment for everybody. So rewatching this again, I have watched this 4 times as of recently, and I still have to say that this movie does not get old. Every single time you watch it, you notice something different each and every time, and it's just so cool to watch, and I love it. It's such a fun movie. I love the music. The music is beautiful. I love the design of the Godzilla. It's a design that we've never ever seen before, and it's just mind-blowing that ugly thing we feel sorry for. But it's so cool that I had to get a figure of him. So welcome to the review of Shin Godzilla, the S.H.Monsterarts version. So I got this big boy off of eBay for $200. I was very happy because when I first saw this guy announced, way back in the day when Jabby the Han first reviewed Shin Godzilla, I was really blown away because I wanted one for myself for the longest time with the first edition. A lot of complaints came with the first edition. It was very popular because they remade that thing over and over again, recolorized it, reprinted it. They sold so many copies. It just wasn't up to standard, I guess. But I wanted one for myself real bad because I love Shin Godzilla. And then, of course, eventually we got the 2 evolutions of the second evolved Shin Godzilla and the third form. And both of those are awesome. Very expensive now. Pretty much costs the exact same amount as this guy. And then we had this guy. This guy was announced, and I was very excited. I was super, super excited for when this guy was going to come out. And he's finally here. And he was $150 when he first released. And I spent $200. Is he perfect? No. I have opened this guy just to see if everything was fine. And I'm just going to say this right now. Spoilers. Not a lot of things are fine with this figure. But do I regret my purchase? That's what we're going to find out. So we're going to take a look at a very in-depth look. And it's probably going to take forever. So hopefully you guys are ready for this. The Shin Godzilla S.H.Monsterarts figure. This is the Fourth Night Combat version. So right off the bat, I have to say, This is a very beautiful looking box. I don't remember what the box looked like on the other figures, but seeing this one's definitely there's no way you can compete with this one. I love the way this one looks. Will it look exactly like it does on the packaging? No. But I'm pretty sure it's just because of the lighting, because I love how black it looks. I love just the complete darkness of the actual figure with the red glowing highlights. I think that's so cool. Definitely a very, very interesting look for him. And I really do like the way it looks. If I kind of darken that up a little bit, you can kind of see that is a very nice red that's coming through the actual packaging. But you got a picture of the figure right here, which is from a gloss look. This whole figure is of a gloss print, while the back is a matte, which is pretty cool. I do like that. Really does make the packaging pop out. You can see it kind of reflect as well. Got some wording right here. And we got some Bandai Namco right there. Got the S.H.Monsterarts Godzilla 2016, the Fourth Night Combat version. Some other words right there, which I don't really feel like reading. We got some kind of Godzilla logos at the bottom left corner. And you also have some other little stickers as well. I got this guy new, by the way. So some of the problems that I have is because it is brand new. And yeah, that's what makes it a little worse. But it is pretty cool. You also do have some images on the back as well. Some pretty cool ones. You got an image of like the mouth opening up. You got an image of the figure and like pretty much the pose he's based off of. He's from that kind of scene in the movie. Got some more images there and some other stuff as well. Just kind of showing off the figure a little bit. And on the back you have an actual picture of the image. The only thing that is different is that I did take some of the wrapping off because he was kind of wrapped up with some plastic just to kind of keep him contained, but I didn't feel like putting that back on when I reboxed him, so yeah, just deal with it. But you do have a blank side on this side, but it does have Godzilla 2016 Fourth Night Combat version. Pretty cool. Really like the logo right here of Shin Godzilla. And on the very top, it's a very clear roof right here with some S.H.Monsterarts, the name of the figure, and Shin Godzilla written right there. I hope that says Shin Godzilla. I think that I know this is Godzilla, I believe. This, I think, is Shin Godzilla, or Shin. So on the bottom, there's actually a nice image of the figure, which is not a gloss. It is a matte, just like the rest of the box. Some other stuff as well. Basically, your legal information. So what we're gonna do now is get this guy out of here. So I'm not gonna be too gentle because I don't really collect the boxes, and as much as I love this box, I might cut out the front, but there's nothing I can do to like there's nothing I can do to like, you know, save the box because I have nowhere to put it. So we're just gonna yank everything out of here. So let's get this guy on out of here like so. There we go. Put the box to the side. And we have the figure right here. Open him up from his clam tray, which is very nice. Remove the figure. Remove the bottom tray. And here is the figure. Now, I'm going to say right off the bat, this guy is absolutely beautiful. First glance, this guy is so cool. This guy looks awesome. This is definitely what should have been the first release from what I've seen from a lot of people. And I definitely agree. I think if you would have released this one first, it would have been awesome. So it's so cool. The sculpting is beautifully done. I love the way this thing looks. There are a couple inaccuracies and also some mess ups that our good friends at our good buddies at S.H.Monsterarts kind of messed up on, so we're gonna get into that soon. But I do just want to appreciate the sculpt work and the painting, because I do like the painting as well. The entire red parts, this figure is made out of mostly clear plastic, so when you hit the light on the figure, he does glow, which is kind of the the reason, that's why he's very glowy on the packaging, because he glows. He glows in the dark, kind of, if you have like a certain like light piping. But it's really cool. I really do like the way it looks. So I want to start off with the head, and I think the head is probably my least favorite part about the figure. But that will probably go to another thing that we'll take a look at in a second. So I want to take a look at the head, because the head, I think, has a little bit more to say. So taking a look at the actual head sculpt, it's not bad. It's a pretty decent head sculpt. I really do like the way it looks. It's very interesting. Do I think it's accurate? No, I don't think that this head sculpt is accurate. There's something off about it, and I really can't put my finger on it. One of the main things that I really don't care about this head sculpt is that the teeth do look funny. The teeth look very weird. They just look very dull, I guess. They're not, I don't know. There's just something very odd about them that I really can't say what it is, but there's just something weird about them. On camera, they look like they're painted white, but they're actually painted yellow, which is very interesting. And it is decently painted. There are some smudge works here and there, but other than that, the teeth are nicely painted. I just don't like really the shape of them. They're, they just look funny. I think they're just a little too stumpy, because, Shin Godzilla has very, very sharp teeth that kind of, protrude from his face, really. And, that's just what I've seen. So, seeing kind of like short, dull teeth just doesn't really work too well. Also, he really can't close his mouth that much, I mean, it is kind of accurate, I guess. I mean, if we kind of look at the box, you can kind of see through the gaps, but I don't know. There's just something weird of how gapey that is. And, I just showed the box, but, the box itself, the teeth kind of do cover up the gappage, I guess. And, he can't really do that with his tiny little weird teeth. So, it's whatever. The eyes are painted wrong. I don't care for the eyes too much. I keep like unfocusing. They look very straightforward, because this one, the eyes are really supposed to be pointed all the way down pretty much. And this just looks, weird that it's not doing that. But yeah, they are supposed to be pointed down, and I don't know why they didn't do that. I mean, it's very simple to do. Any other S.H.Monsterarts, the eyes are painted pretty nicely, but I think with Shin Godzilla, I think the eyes are not the best painted, It is creepy though, but just to me, I think the eyes should have been lower, and yeah, that's just how I think it should have been. But yeah, other than that, just the whole head itself just looks weird to me. But yeah, other than that, I think that it's a decent head sculpt. I don't think it really does look like the character that much. But that is just me. I think it's just because there's a couple inconsistencies to the actual, figure itself. So, or like the actual model, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But it's decent. It's not too bad. But I just would, I think they should have just done a little bit better. I am getting a custom head sculpt that is supposed to look very accurate to the figure itself. So that's going to be fun to get whenever I receive that. I'm going to have to paint it myself, but I think I can do it. So I'm excited for that, and I'm pretty sure it would look a little bit better than what they did here. But overall, it's not too bad. I just don't like the eyes and the teeth and just how, gapey the mouth is. But it's really not bad. I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like that, but whatever. It's kind of my own opinion. But some other stuff that he can do with sculpting wise is that he can open his mouth to a very wide extent. And it is very nicely done. This is Very, very nice. I love the way that looks. Just the overall sculpt work is very nice inside the mouth. I really do like it. It's pretty cool. Something that I don't care for is the bottom jaw itself. The bottom jaw really does tend to just pop off nicely, and of course on camera it doesn't really want to do that. But rest assured, the bottom jaw is very... Why is it so tight now? Is it because I left it for a while? Okay, so when I first got the figure, the bottom jaw was very loose out of the box. You could not open the mouth without it falling. And I don't know why it's doing it now. Now it seems like I'm a fucking liar. But, yeah, I think that it just is trying to get back at me for saying how ugly it looks. But yeah, I guess that's fine. Whatever. Anyways, like I was saying, the bottom jaw really did like to, you know, pop off a lot, so that was an easy fix. You really didn't have to do much. I would have just either, you know, kind of did the super glue trick. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about the head sculpt. But it is very nice looking. You know, it is really cool. I do like all the detailing that's on the actual face, so I think that's pretty neat. Moving down to the actual torso itself, I think it is very nicely painted. I do love this whole weird chest thing. I don't know what it is. I just really like how it just kind of triangles forward, and I like all the sculpting work. And the lighting really does make it pop, and I love the way the paint job is. Another little issue, I'm going to point out a lot of issues because I spent a lot of money on this thing. And if there's issues, I'm going to say something about it. So it may seem like I was really nitpicking the head, but it's just me wanting my money's worth. So yeah, that's basically where I'm coming from. The nails are also very kind of sloppily painted. This one's kind of bleeding onto this part. It's not really supposed to go that far, I don't think. But I think that's kind of a... Yeah, I don't really care. I can fix that myself. Any type of little paint job mishap I can kind of fix myself, like the eyes and the, you know, this. But I think the biggest issue with a lot of people's, actually, from what I've heard, is this arm right here. This arm's fine, from what I can tell, but when I first got this figure, I had to really loosen up the entire arm because this swivel right here was extremely tight, and it was that kind of tight where if you kind of bent it enough, you could tell that it was just gonna just tear off. So I had to disassemble this entire arm piece and really just kind of, you know, work the joint in to make it less loose. There are some other tricks that you can probably do, but I just kind of, you know, wiggled it around, you know, just moved it around while it was out of the socket, and yeah, that basically kind of helped. And it doesn't do it anymore. It does do it sometimes, like right now. It just did it. Hear that? There's like nothing going on. If I twisted that even more, that would snap off. So that's something that you would have to either heat up the plastic for or lube it up somehow. But it does do that, so I would be very careful with these joints. But yeah, I think that's very unfortunate, but it's an easy fix, I guess. A lot of these things can be easy fixes, but you shouldn't really have to at the, you know, the price range. Even $150 is still a lot for a figure that comes with no accessories, which we'll get into in a little bit. I'm going to talk about something that I do like, is the Thunder Thighs. The Thunder Thighs here are very textured, and I really like the way it looks. It's very hard to pick up on that camera, but they're very textured. You can feel all the texture pretty much on these thighs. Everywhere else you can feel it too, but on the thighs you can definitely feel it. It feels like a piece of like coal, like a piece of charcoal. That's basically kind of the feeling that I'm getting from it. Might be over exaggerating that, but that's pretty much what it feels like. I love the paint job on the entire body, especially these dorsal plates. Dorsal plates are very nicely done. There we go. Dorsal plates. very nicely done. I love the red, that deep, nice red with the black tips. I think that's really cool. All the way around, I think it looks very, very nice. Oh, so when I received this guy, I opened him up, and I realized that my guy's missing a dorsal plate. What the fuck, Bandai? That is very unfortunate. That is something that's like, how the fuck do you mess up that badly? Like, this is not an over-exaggeration. This should not be a thing. Like, come on. Like, are you kidding me? But yeah, that's very unfortunate to me. You could kind of, well, actually, is it supposed to be like that? Because in the movie, doesn't he lose one of his dorsal plates? It's very hard to kind of tell, but it would make sense, I guess. So that's kind of going to be my headcanon if I'm wrong. I watched the movie 4 times and I still can't remember that scene. But yeah, I think it was actually it was either a chunk of skin or an actual dorsal plate. So that's my headcanon for why this is gone. From what I'm looking at on the packaging, that ain't supposed to be like that. So that is bullshit. I fucking hate that. If I ordered this off of like the Big Bad Toy Store or something, which I probably should have done, I would have asked for a replacement because that's unacceptable. But for now, you know, I got it off new on eBay, so I'll just be happy with it. I won't, you know, say anything else about that. But yeah, that is bullshit, especially since this is a brand new figure. Yeah, that should not be a thing. But the rest of the spikes are very nice. I really do like everything else about it. But yeah, everything else is nice. You can see that going down to the feet. It also is cool. I love the way the feet look. They are sculpted nicely. The toenails painted beautifully. And I love the extra toenails that he's got going on. It's very, very cool and very disgusting like, and also just kind of one of those things where it's like, dang, this guy is messed up. And you can see that on the other foot as well. He's got a bunch of extra sharp claws coming out of his leg, which is so weird. But yeah, we also come down to the tail, which is very, very, very long. And also, he's got his little weird tail buddy here, which is super, super dope. It is sculpted very nicely. Do like the way it's painted. You can barely really see what it is, but if you kind of like pay attention just a little bit, you can see what it actually is supposed to look like. I do like these sculpted in teeth that you can kind of barely see in there, but it is there. It is very scary looking. But yeah, that is just disgusting. And I do love how it's painted and just how gross it looks too. But yeah, that is basically the entire figure. Lot of flaws with the figure. Would I say it's worth the $200? No. Would I say it was worth $150? Maybe. But he should have came with accessories. I think some accessories that he should have came with is maybe the flame effects, some buildings, something like that. Give him the extra jaw too, because in the night, the full-on, I forgot what version it's called, but it's the whole version where he just full-on lets loose on the city with his atomic breath, which is an amazing scene. But they, with that version of the figure, everything was transparent but like purple. They also gave him 2 different types of jaws and 2 different types of heads, one with the lenses that are closed and this one that has the split jaw. He also came with like the smoke effect here. He also came with the beam effect. He came with a lot, and that's probably the version I should have went with, but I do love the red a lot more than I do the purple. But maybe in the future I'll get the purple version, but probably not. Maybe Hiya Toys might do something like that, which if they did, God, I would love that. Anyways, everything else does look very nice. But yeah, I think that he should have came with more accessories. He should have came with buildings, should have came with fire, should have came with something. Give us the split jaw so we can have like the fire coming out of his mouth or something. I think that would have been cool. Just give us something that's worth that price point, because, you know, this is really not cutting it, you know, especially with the flaws that he's got. And I'm sure nobody else is going to have this kind of flaws when they get their figure, but just kind of to fair warning for when you're buying stuff. S.H. Monster is pretty weak about quality control, especially with like eye painting. And now that I'm seeing now with this, definitely do be wary. So yeah, that was a mouthful to say. But yeah, this is very, very cool. I really do like the figure. Like, I said a lot of kind of negatives just because, I want to get my money's worth. But in the end, I really think that this figure is cool. He is so awesome. He looks amazing. The sculpting is beautiful. That long tail is just huge. Like, this is a ginormous tail, and I love that they actually were able to do this with the figure. And I think it's definitely worth to have it on your mantle. So if it really wasn't for the flaws, this figure would probably be perfect. I would say if the face was a little different, which when he gets his new head sculpt and I try my best to paint it and it works out perfectly, this would definitely be a big figure that I would love. I gotta finish everything, gotta fix all the little, gotta fix all these little, nitpicks, these little imperfect parts, I guess. I don't know what I'm going to do about the dorsal plate, but I was thinking of making it, but I think having it like that is fine. Honestly, it really doesn't bother me that much, and it doesn't look as jarring as it kind of does on camera, because that looks very red on camera. But honestly, it doesn't really bother me, because honestly the figure is going to be displayed like this. I mean, I'm not going to notice the missing dorsal plate that's right there, especially if I have it like turned like this. So I think that'll be fine. But yeah, I think this is a very, very nice figure. It is very nice. S.H.Monsterarts, they're not really the best, and they have kind of slowly been going down the drain, especially with their hiked up prices and their just quality control issues. That kind of sucks, but in the end they do a really great job. But if S.H.Monsterarts gets their hands on like the Heisei era figures and these figures from -1 and Shin Godzilla, they definitely will be topped, because from what I've seen with the Heisei, or Heisei, not Heisei, the Hayatoys figures, they've been cooking, man. They've got some good shit. So that's definitely gonna be really nice. So yeah, that's basically all I really got to say about the figure. So I kind of want to go over posability, just to show you guys what he's got, and we'll do a little bit of a size comparison, and I guess end the video here. So starting off with the head, he's got two different types of joints at the jaw. Of course, he's got a ball joint here, which is a very interesting way to actually do your figure, because you could have just done a hinge joint and a hinge joint, but they made a ball joint, which is very interesting, which I don't care for, because you can easily kind of mess up the jaw like that, and it is a little bit of a tedious process to get it back in there. From the front, it actually looks really cool. I'm sorry, getting off topic there, but from the front it does look really nice. From the side, it's not too bad. But yeah, ball joint at the actual jaw can hinge open. Ball joint at the bottom jaw, which is pretty dope. Doesn't really close that well, but yeah, once you do close it like that, it's pretty good. He's got a swivel at this part, but it's very, very tight. So he's got ball joint and a ball joint, so that kind of amplifies the range of motion. It mainly goes side to side with this joint, and this one kind of brings it down. He does have a ball joint at the actual chest piece, which can really make him go down like this, which, since they all kind of use the same kind of sculpt, you can have him in that pose where he's like about to vomit all over your carpet like a cat. What I do appreciate, though, is that they did take the time to sculpt all of this too. So even though you have his back like this and there's no dorsal plates, it's very nice to have this. So Kind of gives it a little bit more, you know, I guess more detail when there's really, you didn't really have to, but well, obviously you needed to because it would look ugly if it didn't, but very nice. I really appreciate that. Going to the arm here, he's got a ball joint at this shoulder, which can kind of do a little bit of a butterfly, but not too much, can swivel there. Same with this hand as well. This has a full rotation, but I'm scared to kind of move these joints because I feel like this one is also just as tight. He's got a ball joint at the elbow, which can, of course, swivel. He's got a ball joint at the hand, which can swivel. He's also got some pretty good side to side as well. He's got some pretty good range and motion all up in the torso area, which is nice. Does have a swivel at the leg, which I believe is a ball joint as well. Can kind of go up and down, got some swivels there. Pretty much good range of posability. Does have a bend at the knee, which can go about that far and you know, come down to about there. It is kind of movable too, not as movable as this. This is kind of loose compared to this one, but honestly that's not a big deal. Does have a little bit of swivel at kind of this area, and also a swivel at the calf. He also does have a pretty decent pivot as well, which is pretty nice. And of course he has the classic S.H.Monsterarts tail, which can pose to a ridiculous extent. I think I counted 15 or 16 ball joint segments at the tail, so it is very, very curvy, and it does feel really nice, and it does hold its place too. I really do like the amount of stability that is in this tail. It's very nice and tight, and it does hold the form that you really want as well. Really, really do appreciate that. Showing you guys just kind of how tall the figure is. He stands to almost about 7.5 inches, I believe. So that is pretty nice. If you guys want to know how long he is, that's a different story. If you kind of have him like, you know, standard kind of pose, kind of coming from here, it's about 10.5, I guess. Maybe a little bit more, almost to 11. But if you're a crazy person and have the tail completely out like so, if I can, which I don't know why you would have them displayed like this, it goes all the way to about 18 inches. Standing next to a couple Godzilla figures that I own, here he is next to the Godzilla first Gojira figure from the very first Godzilla movie. Looks pretty cool. Very, very different, and what a huge change we have come from you know, seeing the very first version of Godzilla in toy form next to almost his most recent. It's a huge night and day difference to see how far they came with this character. Here he is next to my first ever Godzilla figure, and this is from it's a Bandai, I guess it's an older figure. I don't remember what year it's from, but this is from the Final Wars movie, and both look pretty decent together. I don't feel like taking the atomic breath piece out of his mouth to put the regular piece in, but here he is next to another S.H.Monsterarts figure, the Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019 Godzilla. These two look absolutely menacing together, and just kind of having them in a battle pose is super, super weird, and I just absolutely love the way these two look. Now I said a lot of kind of negative things about the figure, but in the end, I love the way this guy looks. He is just so menacing looking. Like, look at him. He's so fucking insane. The amount of posability is actually very decent on the figure. I love the way the tail is posable. His entire upper torso body is probably the coolest thing ever, and I just love the amount of sculpting on him. And I love just the paintwork. I love that they use a transparent plastic for this figure. For some things, it's not really the best because, you know, transparent plastic tends to kind of break easily, but I think that this works very nicely in the figure's favor. And I really do think that the figure really could have had a lot of accessories because it would have been cool to have a bunch of burning buildings or some fire effects or even the smoke effect at least. But for what we get, it's not bad. It's definitely not worth the $200 aftermarket price or the regular price for that matter. It would have been worth it if it had some accessories. That would have made it pretty much perfect. I think it would have been a pretty good, grade system, you know what I mean? In terms of kind of like overall score, I think I'd give it a 3 out of 5. It's definitely great and it has a lot of great potential, but I think that alone doesn't really make it that much worth it. Painting and the sculpt is pretty much really, really good. I love all of it. I think the head is probably my only downfall with sculpt wise, but painting wise, everything's pretty much on par with the entire body, the tail, the little details, just the little things on the claws, the teeth, maybe the eyes as well. I think just those things, kind of bring the, overall paint and sculpt down, but I think that's not enough to, steer it away. For accuracy, again, the head is not really my favorite. I think it could have been a little bit more better done. And as for quality, you got the quality control issues of the arms. You got the, the removable jaw that really didn't want to do anything for this video. But I assure you that jaw was very, very loose. So it probably just, got used to the fact that it was plugged in. So I guess that's cool. And of course you have that ugly spot that doesn't even have a dorsal fin. So for quality issues, I think that's a pretty big thing for me. Overall though, I think a 3 out of 5 is perfect. It's definitely not a bad figure by any means. It's a great figure. It is a lot of fun to handle. And he's just very big and he's heavy too, and he's fun to look at, and it's just nice to have a Shin Godzilla into your collection. I just think that it could have been done so much better, especially for that price point. But yeah, that's pretty much what I think about this figure. Not bad, not perfect, but right there in the middle is pretty much as good as you're gonna get. This whole image right here is super cool. You got a Heisei. You got the Heisei, not the Heisei, the Showa era Godzilla there. You got the Millennial era there. You got the Monsterverse figure there. Then you got, I forgot what era this is from. I forgot what it's called. I would love to have a Heisei era Godzilla figure. I would really love to have just either a regular one from Godzilla vs. Biollante, or get the Burning Godzilla, because I love the Burning Godzilla. He's so cool. So it'd be really awesome to finally get a Showa era Godzilla. But this is really cool to have all the different eras together. So it'd be really cool to eventually get myself a version that represents the Heisei era, my favorite era in all of the Godzilla movies and stuff. But that is gonna be it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed this one. This is the first video of 2024. I really am going to try and put my heart and soul into this video. But yeah, I really hope you did like everything. I did kind of switch some stuff up, so I really hope you liked it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna let you guys go. I will see you guys in the next review. That was fun. So I'm gonna remove you guys real quick. There you go. I gotta make room for this guy. that'll be a fun video to do next week.